One thing I would like to share is that consumer protection is a core issue, and I guess in the fireside chat we really touched on that. Because the agent network is growing faster than regulation can catch up. And so it's important that we look at consumer protection. If someone sends money through, if someone is using agent network, and we've had instances where someone will say, I used my card as an agent network, and somebody is suddenly debiting me. What do you think happens to that person? The person will want to try out that channel again. So we need to consider consumer protection issues, especially in terms of agent network. And there are wonderful recommendations that we've heard here today. And it would be good that we turn those things into policies to strike action. As more and more people, Nigerians are using agent network, we need to protect them. Or from not short, there's issue with transparency of pricing. If you move from one location to another location, what they are charging is different. And the understanding is real, right? For me to get the cash, it's difficult for me to get the cash. I have to cover the cost. But it's important that we tackle some of these issues. Clarity, financial literacy. It's important that we tackle some of these issues because it will help us. Because we project that agent networks is still going to grow. People are still going to use more agent networks. So we need to ensure that they are protected. Finally, I would say that I've already mentioned this, female agent representation. We need to empower female agents in the community. Once there's a presence of a female agent in the community, one, it will inspire more women. That's the first thing. Two, it will empower them. It will empower the agents themselves, whether as individuals, whether for their households. We really need to encourage female agents. And one other place I want to highlight in terms of female agents is redressal, complaints. When someone has an issue as an agent application, you ask Nigerians, what would the person do? Most people don't know, right? But we need to empower female agents because we've seen that female agents are really good with building trust. They are really good with interacting with Nigerians, especially those who are not so literate. If an elderly woman comes to a female agent, the woman is patient enough to listen to her, to help her transact, and to meet her needs. So if this elderly woman has a challenge with that transaction, we need to empower this female agent to be able to provide her the right answers, what to do and when she should do it, to ensure that she doesn't go back to because there's an issue with going for people who are already in the network challenge. And we know that the agents can't do anything about it. Even if you switch this card, it's not going. There's really nothing much you can do about it. So we really need to strongly collaborate with NCC to ensure that we solve the issue of the network infrastructure in Nigeria. Because the entire agent network infrastructure is built on the telecommunication infrastructure. So if that is not working well, that's going to affect agents. If you stay the whole day, that 100,000 that you got and you can't give it to people, you have to wait again and you must leave it, you must 24 hours. So we hope that I know that the SEC have been to some of these conferences, but we strengthen the collaboration to figure out a way to solve the challenge with our telecommunication infrastructure in Nigeria. So in conclusion, I would like to commend AMMBAN again for organizing this conference. And what I hope happens is that some of the things that we talked about here do not go to waste. That there's a system by able to, for stakeholders that are not currently to send some of these insights to them and to actively advocate that we see these changes in the community. Because like I said, use of agents is still going to grow. But if we don't tackle consumer protection issues, network challenges, empower women to sort out grievances and agent issues, what we have built or our goal by forming the back of that. Thank you.
Please can you put your hands together for Madam Chairman of EFINA. This affair of women is very important. It's all inclusive solutions that we're looking at. Quickly, I would like to invite the moderator of this session, who is the Manager of Policy and DFS Advocacy at EFINA, Mr. AMMBAN. Please can you put your hands together for him? Clap, 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 clap. AMMBAN people are not believing. So you want to have a seat? this was a female-only panel, but I'm glad that Mr. Ezekiel Sani, the senior VP of Money Point, will be joining them on the podium. Please put your hands together for him. This panel session is focused on the theme from data to action, translating data into product and policy innovation. And I hand over to my very good friend, Emmanuel, to basically anchor this session. But before we do that, Emmanuel, I crave your indulgence. I'd like to invite the president to please come forth, and any member who is going to help present this. We want to a very great and very humble gentleman who is the technical advisor to the President of Financial and Economic Inclusion, Dr. Nuruddin Abubakar Salud. Please, a presentation for him. Please, can I have the President? And the panel, the chairman and POT is going to be presenting this award. Can I have the plaque, please? Please put your hands together for Victor Molojo, a very great man. Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Indeed, I'm very excited. This ask that Doctor should kindly step forward whilst presenting. Let's put our hands together to celebrate our very dear guest, the prestigious AMMBAN Award. I think sometime in August or so, I was on my way to the Aso Villa on the request of the AMMBAN president. You know, but Arike took me to Abuja, mid-air, returned us back to Lagos again. When we see an asset, we are very happy. Thank you for the incredible contribution you've made in recognizing AMMBAN as a partner and reliable to help achieve the objectives of the presidency. So it is my singular honor on behalf of AMMBAN on this very wonderful occasion of our 8th National Conference to present this award for exceptional leadership in economic and financial inclusion, presented to Dr. Nuruddin Abubakar, FCCA, in recognition of your outstanding contributions to advancing economic and financial inclusion and sustainable development, the quality of life for individuals and communities across Nigeria. AMMBAN, please join me in celebrating Dr. Nuruddin Abubakar.
This is looking so beautiful. So gentlemen, I sincerely appreciate everyone's job to add to the commitment that I'm indeed a member, and I will continue to be a member to support your cause, particularly as it aligns with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Thank you so much, everyone, and I really appreciate everyone. Mr. President, thanks everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. I will hand over to Emmanuel. I think you should be listening now as a kid for me. Chairman.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so because me, I'm a teacher, I want everybody to be calm, so all the noise can please leave the room. Otherwise, you will not have lunch. Okay, so I also have someone take this on nice record. Alright. Now, the people on this panel came all the way from Lagos, and we have the CBN joining us online. I just think that it's important that we give them the highest respect that's possible by making this conversation sink in, because what brought us here is to see, can we drive financial inclusion at the last mile using data to inform products, using data to inform policy, and even other development programs? So the data we are going to be sharing and the issues are issues that concern you. Some of them, the fire child has touched on, and some others are what we'll be highlighting and offering solutions to. So we are glad that the CBN is also here. We have a very limited time and my panel has been introduced, but I will just run through again. So from my far right, Mr. Ezekiel Sani, welcome. Vice President Money Point, you know him already. Choma Wewu, our data person at EFINA. So if you talk about the data, you will hear it from EFINA. I think Choma is the go-to person, very active on that team. So Choma, again, you're welcome. And my boy in the house, Mr. Jibade, yes, he wears double hats here, but for the purpose of this conversation, he's going to be speaking for the entire industry. He is the current chairman of the committee of e-banking industry heads. So all the POS, the network issues, is the go-to person. He can give us answers to why we have those feelings. And we have Jennifer here. Jennifer Wese, who leads West African research, right? African research at the Women's World Banking. So anything that has to do with women intervention from evidence, Jennifer will be able to share some global, African-wide experiences with all of us. And of course, my very own self, Emmanuel Okoro, who will be doing the question and answering. Just before I continue, technical. The people online cannot hear us. Can you do something, please? We have CBN online. You know, without CBN, we can't do anything in this place. All right. Jennifer, I'm going to start with you. Why they try to get a little bit online. The data that Choma presented is very scary, right? And I'm going to be using the different multiple data sources. At the moment, SANDF report as at September that we have 1,931,421 agents on the SANDF platform. Of this, male agents account for 1,255,424. Leaving a meager 675,997 female agents. So if you look at the ratio, female agents is just like 1 in every 4 agents is a woman, right? And we did say that Choma in Choma's presentation, Choma had said the women are able to drive trust in financial service providers more than even male agents. So women are even more comfortable. Men are even more comfortable when they want to use female agents because they feel these are community builders and they have something at stake. From your work at the Women's World Banking, from data, right, that can help us address the gap in the gender gap in both agent and financial inclusion.
Few years at Women's World Banking, we've seen series of insights. We undertake what we call women-centered design research. So we want to find out ways to be gender intentional in creating tools for women. So data is strong. It is very important. In fact, it's a key thing when you want to design intervention, when you want to address barriers. So that is why it is important that financial service providers, makers, and all stakeholders in the financial sector should pay attention to data. And I'm happy our CBN is leading that, they are championing that, they are paying attention to data. And so I'm going to talk about how this data can address these barriers. The first way that the data can address the barriers that women face in being included is first and foremost to identify patterns. I was happy when one of the representative of AMMBAN was saying that AMMBAN did their own survey and they realized that even insights provided is not a reality. So that is what data does. When you arm yourself with data, insight, what you hear from people from around the globe, you can actually say, okay, now this is what I have to do. AMMBAN is leading that by saying, okay, this data is here, we have 60% financial inclusion. No, but we want to go and find our own data so that we can address it. So data can allow you to identify patterns so that you can address it. That's why AMMBAN is here to address some of these gaps. And I'm happy AMMBAN has the Women Wing. Greatest AMMBAN Wing. So this AMMBAN Wing is going to make sure that women are included in agency in Nigeria. Another way data will address women financial inclusion is to make sure that these products are designed to accommodate women. We all know that women wear two hats. Women balance the role of being the women that take care of the home, and they have to do a job too. And sometimes they are not able to cope with the men. So it is important that financial service providers and banks are here ably represented. When you design products, by the data you get from AMMBAN, from global fintechs, data to X, you're able to understand the financial gap women face, the barriers women face, the pain points they face in assessing products. So it is important that when this data is available, financial service providers will use this data to design women-centric products, which is where Women's World Banking participates. We collaborate with different financial service providers in Nigeria to support them in designing gender-centric products that will work for women. And key, why data is important is in monitoring and evaluation. After you've designed those products, you've rolled it out, women are assessing it. It is important to go back and monitor what is really happening. Yes, the women...
Technical, can they hear us? Great, great. Choma, let me come to you. So after Choma, Mr. Ezekiel, you will respond because the question is tied to you before Mr. Achibade will speak to the same question. So, I just gave data on agents spread and the gap. That gap is not just with agents. So, Choma, the gender gap in financial inclusion is reported at 9%. Some even say it's more than according to GSMA. You shared some remarkable data of how the entrance of fintechs have also helped to grow financial inclusion in the past 3 years. Apart from the gender gap, what other issues, very worrying issues that do you see from the data that you have shared and from AMMBAN and other industry-related data that agent may just be a solution to help address?
Thank you, I'm going to mention one thing, which is critical. I think this rural urban, we usually have this question, this theory of rural urban divide, right? And it's said that the principle for agency banking is that they go to the rural areas. I know there are issues with that, but that's one potential that agency banking can really help us in this country. You can't keep on saying people, I don't know, and for some of us that live in the city, when you go to your village, if you have a sub agency bank, when you get to your village, you can't transact. But I don't know why we're not necessarily thinking about that. So that's one thing. Because one thing I keep on emphasizing is that what the commercial bank has tried to do in 50 years has been done in 3 years. We really need to understand what's happening, right? Even when the DFI infrastructure failed, there are people who were saying, oh, for instance,
And Mr. Ezekiel, to you, as before we will speak to Mr. Jibade, how do you design around these challenges to ensure that, irrespective of these barriers, people have access to financial services? And I will give you a context. So one of the issues that have been raised here is overcharging. It wasn't called overcharging, but it was said. Where an agent has 50,000 naira. If the agent gives me that 50,000 naira and charges 300, he does not have another money to give to Jennifer. Jennifer will withdraw. So what the agent will typically do is to say, there is Ezekiel, there is Choma, there is Ajibade, there is Jennifer, and there is Emmanuel. Primary point of interest like banks, like churches, schools that are able to drive transactions, the agent may just sit there. And that also speaks to the over-concentration of agents in urban areas, because people feel if they go to the remote areas, they may not get the required transaction. And I'm speaking to this question because I want Mr. Kibali to build on the response you are going to give. How do you design in such a way that it is beyond keeping? That everybody who needs financial services is able to access those services at the agent location? Because we've been hearing of money points. Money point just came and to what extent has data informed what you do in terms of product innovation? And are there examples that you can share?
Thank you very much. To effectively deal with these issues that you have identified, there is something that money points did. We were able to understudy the way NWROT, this National Union of Road Transport Workers, the way they are organized nationwide. We were able to get these data, how they are organized and how they operate. And with this data, we were able to come up with solutions that resemble exactly what's. Because before the advent of the private individuals in the transport sector in Nigeria, they were actually doing well. And when you go to every part of the country, the populace of the community that they reside. And these are PRMs, they don't just stop at selling, they also provide first level of support to the agents. So they are like the go-to person in this community. When these agents have issues, they help them resolve these issues. It can be issues around an erroneous transaction, it can be issues around network downtime, it can be issues around probably faulty devices. They provide this needed support. So using data, existing data, and looking at what an organization has done in Nigeria, I was talking about the NURWT, we were able to tailor our operation using their model, and that has allowed us stage widespread to ensure that we are present in virtually all the 774 local governments in the country. And also using data to ensure that we release products that are tailored to the need of these individuals. We actually work with feedbacks, right? I'm sure probably you have seen our publication, the Informal Economy Report that was launched in collaboration with SMIDA and the Ministry of Industry and Trade, right? So we get these data directly from the individuals that are using our products and services. These our staff, I refer to them as staff that are across the country. They help us in getting this data to ensure that we know the pain points of these agents that are rendering services to the people in the community. And when we roll out products and services, we try to address the pain points to these individuals. And we don't actually stop there. From every quarter we do our net performance score, we do our NPS survey that gives us an idea of how well we are doing and the areas that we are lacking behind that we need to improve on. And with this data we get from the field, we analyze them and ensure that we build tailored and services that are able to meet these needs.
I thought you would clap. How many of you have seen the Money Point MSME report, informal sector reports? You see, you must put it inside the book. So we are not reading, right? You will have to read. Ajibade, this one is big. Now that you have not read that report, I want to ask you another question. Is there any agent here that has been accused of fraud that he or she does not know about? Raise your hand, let me see you. A fraud issue happened and it's being traced to your point, your shop, your location. Only 2 persons. Okay, the hands are going up now. Are there more? Okay, so we have hands up. As the chairman, Committee of E-Banking Industry Heads, anything e-banking, digital, you organize as this. I had a question that I wanted to ask you, but just looking at the data that Shoma shared, that agent location is very high. And the reason I ask that question is that sometimes agents don't even know this is a fraud issue. Someone just come and transfers money to them or gives them cards, so long they pay is okay, is correct. They withdraw the cash out. But we have realized over time that a lot of things are happening at the agent location. I will paint another scenario. So, okay, Olojo Fasasi is a contractor who has received money from Audio. So Audio has paid Fasasi to deliver the project. Fasasi now comes to my location to make a transaction. And that transaction was supposed to go to Sani. Sani will supply me XYZ so that I can fulfill my obligation. The transfer has been made, but Sani has not received money. So he cannot supply anything to me. I cannot fulfill my obligation to Fasasi. Right? And Fasasi cannot fulfill his obligation to Audio. So it's a loop. Value has not been created, value has not been delivered. But there is money lying somewhere. Now, from data, because you also collect data, ATM, POS, transfers, you work with NIPS. What can you tell us from data, the core issues that are responsible for situations like this that make us break our head? That's number one. I'm trying to put many questions together so that you can take them together, right? Okay. How can what do you see data that is the real issue behind transaction failures, for instance? No reversals, which the customer, I'm not aware, I don't even know whether Sani is your switch or your PTSD. I don't know, all I just think is I need money. And I made this transfer, the money has not come through. So I am fighting with the agent. The agent is powerless, just the money has come. But Sani has not received money. So there are teaching issues that make the agent to be, it's difficult for the agent to be successful if these issues are not resolved. What does the data tell you and what are the issues? How might we address them?
Hello, good. Thank you very much. Let me start from the first question. And I will answer by saying, where we are coming, we are better off where we are than where we are coming from. So there are some examples that I have given here, but if you compare it with data. Before, on Friday evening, all of you will have not to withdraw your money in bank. But today, whether Friday evening or Friday morning, you don't care. You go ahead your businesses. Because you know, if you have to spend on Saturday or Sunday, you can easily transfer. You can easily use your card. Or you can easily go to one of you, an agent. So where we are coming from, we are far better than that. There might be 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 teaching issues, but they can be resolved. And we all know how to go back to our banks. If a transaction failed, in fairness, maybe within a day, it's resolved. In fact, some banks have implemented auto reversal, like the central bank knows. Fingers are not equal. If you transact with some bank, if your transaction fails, they reverse your money immediately. Some banks may take up to some time before they reverse the money. But the central bank guideline has moved from 24 hours resolving issue to immediate resolving of issues. And I know all players in that ecosystem, they are already working towards it. For transfer, they will be able to achieve, but for card transactions, maybe some of them will still take up to 24 hours, but they are working on it. So overall, the issue of efficiency of the platform, for what data is telling us, unfortunately, some people still have issues. But for what data is telling us, it's about 1% or 2%. I know that 1% and 2% can be very noisy. They go on social media and shout, oh, this is not working, this is not working. But if they pack 10 people together or 100 people together, maybe one or two of them will tell you that they've not benefited from digitalization or DSF, digital financial services. Overall, digital financial services has helped all of us want to manage our finances well. If a thief should come to anybody's house now, God forbid, they won't see anybody in your account, in your house. So that's why they use different methods of getting money from you. As I'm looking at me like this, there's no shishi in my pocket. But I know that my card is in my pocket and my phone is in my pocket as well. I don't mind eating off anybody on the road. I came all the way from Lagos without money in my pocket. In those days, we all can try it. So as much as we say, oh, digital banking is horrible, we still go around without cash. I just think we need more tweaks for all of it to be perfect, but we're on the right track. I hope I answered all your questions.
Yes, you did. And I'm going to come back to you. Right? I'm going to come back. Let me go to the regulator in the house. Temitope, please confirm you can hear me. Hi, Temitope. Technical? Okay. Temitope, can you hear us? Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Thank you for joining us. So Temitope is actually shortly to events right now. We can hear you. We can hear you, so I'm going to keep it very, very quick. Technical, please. Am I good to go? Okay.
Yes, it's really a bit, but I'll try my best to study.
All right, we can hear you now, Temitope. I wanted to ask you, and I'm asking you now, in what ways can we use data insights to drive consumer protection, especially in combating fraud, reporting incidences, and financial crimes? And I'm asking you this question because
I don't know if you can hear me, but I think your sound is not found. I can't hear anything you're saying.
Okay, so Temitope, I'm going to ask the question and I'm also sending it to you so you can respond. Since you can hear us, and maybe we are the ones that cannot hear you. So if you check your phone now, I have just sent the question to you. But I will read it for the purpose of the audience here, so that the audience can know the question that I'm asking you. So the question I'm asking you is, fraud at the agent location is increasing every day, some of which the agents are not even responsible. As a regulator, how can we design strong consumer protection mechanisms that ensure that the agent is protected, the customer is also protected, and the financial service provider whom the agent is representing is also protected, and everyone in the ecosystem is included? Please confirm you hear me and you can respond.
I saw your question on the phone.
Great, go ahead.
I want to respond, but I don't know if you can hear me because I can't hear you anymore. But I have a question right before me. I have it on my phone. So if you can hear me, you can go ahead to respond. Okay, so I said in what ways have data insights been prioritized to drive consumer protection, especially in combating fraud and digital financial crimes? And then the follow-up question was, are there demonstrable solutions or policies from the CBN that clearly show how data has helped to drive consumer protection? So thank you very much. Well, first of all, to express our appreciation for the opportunity to speak to AMMBAN. AMMBAN, as we know, is very critical to the ecosystem for financial inclusion. So first, we'd like to commend your efforts within this space, and you've been very critical to the progress we're making. And we believe that there's still so much more we can do together. So going forward to respond to your question, I think consumer protection is very key. There are many pillars when we talk about financial inclusion, but consumer protection, believe me, is one of the primary ones on which we can drive inclusion to the last scale. Now, coming to the CBN, data, of course, you know, is gold, and data is actually what is driving our oversight function and our engagement with market players across the spectrum of the country. Now, I'll just talk about one or two data insights from the industry data that we have from financial institutions abroad. In terms of what we see when it comes to consumer complaint, one interesting data point for me, and a banking representative from Global World Banking that spoke about the gender dimension. One thing we see from a global perspective of the CBN is the fact that about 2 in 3 complaints, if not more, are made by men. So to the female agents in the room, I'd like to challenge us to make sure that our women are better empowered to speak up. We have opportunity when we engage them, either we're transacting for them, either to receive or to send out money or doing any financial transaction. If something goes wrong, either at our points that we can address or refer them to the principal institution, we need more women to essentially report their complaints. So we know from data, for example, that about 63% of all complaints generally across financial institutions is done by men. Only about 32% of them are women. And then about 5% roughly, we can see other